Can I beat Calamity's hardest difficulty, Infernum, on its worst class, Rogue? Rogue is a class that is added by Calamity. It's like throwable projectiles, and it sucks. It is not good. It is not a good class. It is not a fun class. But Infernum is fairly easy for me, and I was really bored, so I decided to challenge myself with it, even though I've already completed this before. I decided to do it again because I was like, it can't be as bad as I remember, and it was in fact as bad as I remembered. It's horrible. I'm gonna stop complaining now just for a bit, and I'm gonna get on with the playthrough. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm probably just gonna primarily show boss fights and whatnot, and I think I'm gonna split this video up into 3 or 4 different parts instead of doing a full playthrough, because otherwise it would be like 2 hours long until I actually get the hang of what I'm doing. The first boss I do in all of my playthroughs is the Eye of Cthulhu. I was kind of struggling on him for a bit because I wasn't using the right gear, so a goblin army spawned and I decided to do it, and I ended up getting all of my gear ready. And I did it my first try after actually having what I needed. I usually over-prepare in all of my playthroughs, and this playthrough I tried under-preparing. It did not work, because again, this class is horrible, and unless you prepare to your fullest, you are not going to do anything because it's horrible. I have been streaming this entire playthrough on TikTok, so if you hear text-to-speech in the background, it is from my TikTok chat. If text-to-speech gets super annoying, I will end up turning it off for future videos. I have my own mic off so I can do voiceovers, but text-to-speech is still enabled because it all just goes through my earphone. Last thing that I'm going to say before I stop talking for a bit, because I've been yapping for a while, is I'm not the best Infernum player, or I'm not the best Terraria player, which is why I'm constantly playing Infernum to try to get better. One day I'd like to do like 1 HP playthroughs and hardcore playthroughs, but I don't know when I will do that. Maybe one day whenever I'm actually good. Now with the Eye of Cthulhu defeated, Acid Rains will start, which means that I can start getting my next armor set, which is sulfuric acid armor. It is significantly better than the Snow Ruffian armor that I'm using now. I just need to simply complete this, and then I can craft it. If anybody's wondering what this mod is called that allows me to storage like this, it is called Magic Storage. It is a great quality of life mod that I recommend everybody using for modded playthroughs. I can make a whole video explaining why it's awesome and like what it does and how to use it. But I use it in every single playthrough and it is amazing. I also buy a couple potions from the Alchemist. I don't know if the Alchemist is technically cheating according to some people, but if it is, feel free to let me know. And I can stop using it for playthroughs if it's that overpowered. I saw Skeletron use it in a playthrough at one point, so I figured that I might as well use it, especially because it just makes my life easier.
How are you taking like 0 DMG when
I decided to farm the Eye of Cthulhu a few more times for money. Was fairly easy with my new armor upgrade, so here are just a few little clips of me killing it, and now it's time for me to go on to Desert Scourge. Desert Scourge should technically be the first boss that you beat, but I never do it first. I always do the Eye of Cthulhu first, and I don't think I will ever change that up. I try fighting most bosses in progression. If I don't, it is because I'm either too lazy to get their summon, or I just forget about them because they're forgettable bosses. Like Crab.
Not as much content as Calamity, but still a good mod. I've only seen videos. I think we're gonna need a little bit more than that.
I in fact did not need more than that because I'm super lazy and I don't like building my own arenas, which is why I usually use magicbuilder, but even when I'm too lazy to do that, I just build a couple platforms.
At Fortnite Ball Stickler 36 Louis AFK, I believe. Well, you can at least use auto platform.
With the Brain of Cthulhu defeated, I can use its tissue samples to craft the Deathbringer pickaxe, which allows me to mine Hellstone, which will then allow me to get my next rogue weapon called the Infernal Chris. With my weapon upgrade, it's time to fight the Perforators. They're never usually that difficult, usually a fairly easy boss. It just takes a while, especially with low DPS of rogue class. But after I defeat the Perforators, I unlock Aerialite, which is mined in the sky, and I can craft a new armor
Guys,
set and
vote
some
in
new
top
weapons.
left. Finally somebody pronouncing my name right.
It's time to do what is probably the hardest pre-hard mode boss, and what some people consider one of the hardest bosses in Infernum, Skeletron. I don't normally find it to be that bad as long as I don't throw.
Yep.
Something that you might notice is that my weapon is kind of OP. I had no idea it was from Calamity Entropy. I normally use Entropy for the
Infernum?
pets and for the outfits and for the extra bosses, and I don't normally use the weapons, but these things are kind of OP. I ended up finding out after somebody couldn't find out anything about it on the wiki, and ended up realizing that it was from Entropy. I think it was either at Slime God or Wall of Flesh when I stopped using it. Ended up getting way too confident in this run, and I threw whenever he was so low because I thought I could just tank all of his projectiles. So now I gotta fight him all over again.
Pigeon Forge Yeet. How are you beating that I can't beat WOF Revengeance? And Gatlinburg.
Now I need to fight Crabulon. I forgot about him completely, so I'm kind of doing him late. I really don't
IDKI
like
just
this
deleted
boss.
it though,
I
and I'm starting a
just
new
always
one.
forget about him too.
But only reworks been. Gotta try then looks.
Crabulon, I go to defeat the giant clam mini boss that spawns after you defeat the Desert Scourge. You need him in
Yay.
order to get an NPC that will help you explore the Abyss later on. I usually just do this guy after Crabulon
sick.
whenever I end up remembering about him, because I don't really care to go down to the Sunken Sea early game.
What is your favorite mod?
after the giant clam, I go to the shimmer to get some of my permanent shimmer buffs, which are super nice, and to get a book for Celine and my spell tome to increase my villagers' DPS and their health. It's time for the second to last boss in pre-hard mode, the Slime God. Not really a hard boss at all, just kind of really annoying in a lengthy fight. These two, you want to damage them both, because if you kill one, then the other one will become enraged. So you want to split your damage, which is why you'll see me actively trying to split mine between these two so I don't enrage one. It just makes the fight a lot more annoying and difficult. Something that might be noticed is I'm not the greatest at dodging things. I don't normally play the Calamity bosses all that much. Even on Infernum, most of them take me just a few attempts, so I don't really know their patterns down very well. You'll even notice this with like every single boss beside the late game bosses, like the Exomex, Devourer of Gods, and Yaron, and Supreme Calamitous. I've gotten their patterns down, but most of the early game bosses don't take me that long. And now it's time for the Wall of Flesh to get me into pre-hard mode. I kind of know how to dodge the lasers consistently. Sometimes I still get hit, but this fight is never really that hard. I usually do it first try too.
I mean, use it if you'd like to.
It was right before here where I ended up figuring out that the weapon that I was talking about, the Azure Ferment, or whatever it's called, from Calamity Entropy, was from Entropy, which is why it was so unbelievably broken. So I ended up stopping using it. It was just so unbelievably OP, and I couldn't figure out why it was so damn strong. I would restart this run, but I'm not doing that. Like I said, I've done it all before. So I'm not doing it again. But, I mean, if somebody wants me to do it all over again, then, I mean, I guess I can. Or if people want me to do it all over again and they're actually willing to watch it, then let me know. And that is going to be the end of this video. I'll try to get the next part out, and if anybody has any advice, feel free to let me know.